Okay. All right. Hey guys, I think that this is live now. It's a little bit weird because it is a screen share. So um, I don't know. I don't know. I can't really see. I mean, I can see the screen, but anyway, my name is Alondra Mercado. I'm going to be showing you guys how I do time and management using Asana, just kind of how I go about organizing um, the orders that I have and all of that. If you are watching the replay and have any questions, make sure you put replay in the questions. And so you put like replay and then your questions so I could go back and answer any questions you may have. And hi, Nicole. And hi, Catherine, of course. I really like showing people how I do some things because I know it can be very helpful. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. So this is Asana. If you are not familiar with it, it is a project management software. You can use it through either, sorry, I'm just trying to put the comments on my iPad. Okay, so you can use this on your phone, on your iPad, and also on a web browser. And then if you have, I don't know about PCs, but I know specifically for MacBooks or any Mac products, you can also download the app, which, oh, it's not going to let me. Usually it would pop up here, but I just like to use a web browser because I like going from tab to tab depending on what it is that I'm doing. So let's start off. This is what my home screen looks like here. And it does look a little bit like busy because I use it a lot. So when I use it, to look at what I have to do, this is what my tasks will look like. And on my task, I will go into details on how I get these tasks to go into this weekly calendar. But I kind of just, I'll show you guys like how I organize everything. But yeah, it's very useful to see all the things you have to do for the week. And each color is a different order. You are able to color coordinate every single order that you have, and I'll show you guys how to do that as well. And yeah, so first things first, I'm going to go over an order that I like, just one project, one order, so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. I haven't really messed with Asana this week just so I would be able to show you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and go home. So this is one of my orders for this week. And I like to look at it on a board. So this is what the board looks like. You have your to-do list, your in progress, and your completed. Oh no, Charisse, I hope you can still hear me. But this is what it looks like. I like to put it on here just because it's easier for me to organize it like this. But you also do have an overview. So on this overview, again, I left a lot of these blanks so I could show you. I think I have a better example. It's just, is it this one? Okay, so in the overview for this one, I generally put like my order details. So this is for a custom sugar cookie. It is a detailed tier. And I put kind of like the price on here. And then this is basically what goes in their invoice as well. I have the theme, color scheme, flavor, what the packaging is, and when they are going to be picking up. So that's what it kind of looks like. And then what I would do next, again, I like to use the board just because I can see everything in at once. And I'll show you guys how I add these in. But again, I'm just showing you an example of what this actually looks like once I've completed it and once I'm ready to use it. So I have to design a set. So what I normally put here is the theme, the cutters that I'll be using, and what colors. So again, the theme for this is graduation. And the cutters that I will be using, normally I either write it down on a piece of paper, and sometimes I actually use workflowy um, to kind of, I don't have an example here, but sometimes I'll be like, okay, like what shapes do I want to use? And I'll plan out my set on here. But sometimes I'll just do it on a piece of paper. And if you guys have any questions throughout this, just feel free to ask. Um, so for my cutters, I know that for this order, I am going to do, sorry, let me go ahead and write it down. So she wants a diploma. She wants a graduation cap. She wants another shape that I'm going to need is a circle. And I also need a plaque. So I will just write it on here. And Carolyn says, wow, that's so organized. I love it. This is why I really like using Asana, because it's very easy to look at everything and it doesn't feel overwhelming, because if I don't use this, I feel very overwhelmed. So for this, we're going to do navy blue and gold. So normally I do this on a Monday. And I write it down on here just to go back and reference it. But also I have a note on here that I do for my to-do list is to gather my cookie cutters. And again, I just enter in what shapes I need. It's going to be the same thing. So you can literally just copy and paste the shapes that you need. And the reason why I do it like this is because it just kind of helps me visualize it. I know that gathering my cookie cutters is part of designing my set, but for me, the way my mind works and my brain works, I need to see it in two different places, because if not, sometimes I won't do that. And by gathering my cookie cutters, I'll look at my, I like to do this on a Sunday. So I organize my week on a Sunday, but say you want to do it as soon as you get an order in, then you can gather your cookie cutters in and make sure that you have everything. I do have a 3D printer at home, so if I don't have a cookie cutter, I generally either create a cookie cutter or I'll buy an STL file and just make sure that I have the cutter. So I already did that because this was my task for yesterday. So I sometimes will move it to my completed side. It doesn't really matter. I don't really use this as much, but you can use it. Um, oh my goodness, Heather said not me. Now I'm pissed at what my Asana looks like. Um, so yeah, but checking it off is very satisfying. Carolyn said that it's very satisfying. It is. It makes me feel like I'm actually doing something. So then I also have, I need to bake my cookies. So on here, I put how many dozen they need and what flavor. So they need all vanilla and they need 2 dozen. So I'll write it down on here. And then I normally, it depends, I'll add either a subtask, and on here for my subtask, I'll do make dough. And for this, I'm going to need a double batch of vanilla. However, I am very blessed. I'm very lucky. My boyfriend makes all of my cookie dough. So I will assign this subtask to him. I made him I was like, you better make an Asana thing, because I'm going to um, assign the task for you. And because he always used to ask me, how much dough do you need? How much dough do you need? And I would get really annoyed and overwhelmed because he would ask me and I would be doing something else and I wouldn't have an answer for him. So what I started doing is I made him get an Asana, and now I assign it to him. He's probably going to say right now, what did you assign to me? Because every time I do something, he gets a notification on his phone, which is great. So I'll assign it to Vicente and I will put a due date for him. So he needs to get this done by today. And yeah, so again, I asked where these men are coming from. Heather asked. I don't know. I ask myself that all the time. So again, I will do the subtask, and then once I bake the cookies, I'll hit check. I haven't baked them and I haven't flooded them, which, like, I'm really behind this week, but that's not the point. So yeah, that's what I normally do, and my task is for today. Again, this is one that is already completed. And then I will put that I need to flood my base, and usually on here, I will put what base colors I need, um, or like what base flood colors I need. So I know that I'm going to flood something in white. And normally this is where I go in into putting how many ounces of icing I need, which I'll show you guys in another example. And then I have that I need to complete my details by tomorrow. And this order is due on Friday. So here I'll put Tara's order is due on Friday. I want to package it in the morning, and the pickup time is 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So that is what it would look like overall. Now I'm going to show you guys how I would create it all together. Again, I'm going to go home, and this is what my week looks like. And I'll show you guys. Haven't done anything for next week just because I wanted to go in and show you guys how we would create um, this, basically how we would create this. So what was I gonna say? I had the trial app for a while, so like the trial of Asana, and I was able to just create a template. However, I don't really want to pay for it, so I'm using the free version. So I'll show you guys how to create a template without actually creating it and having to pay for that feature. So what I'm going to do is go home again, and these are my recent projects, and also they are Heather asked a question, how am I color coding them? I just color code them by order. I just kind of choose a random color. To be honest with you, there's not really like an actual technique that I use on how I color code them. It's just by order. That way I know how many orders I need and what orders I'm on track on, and which ones that I might need a little bit of I will need to rush working on. So for this, I think this one might be a good example. So this is another order that I have. And again, like I said, I want to create a template without creating a template because I don't want to pay for it. So what you're going to do is, and you will obviously be able to do this after you create, sorry, Heather. Heather asked, how in the world I turned it on dark mode? I don't know. That's just how it started. So I didn't really choose it. It just kind of came like this. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure you could change it like in your settings maybe. But so after you create your first ever thing, you'll be able to duplicate this, and it's kind of like a template. So, but before I do that, I will go ahead. I'm going to open another tab for Asana and just pretend that I'm doing this for the first time. So it's just loading, sorry. All right, so you are going to go down here and hit new project. And again, you would have to pay to get the template, but I don't want to pay for it. So we're just going to do a blank project. So my project name is going to be my customer's name, as well as my customer's name, sorry, as well as the order. So I just put so-and-so's name order. Let me show you. Sorry, I just have some papers here that I'm going to look at really quick. So I will put Taylor Gilbert order. And I printed this out earlier just because I wanted to be a little bit organized, but normally what I would do, so I use Jotform as well. And let me see, I'm gonna go to submissions, and I'm going to go to my calendar on here. So when I use Jotform, I like to use my calendar just because it's a visual of what I have to do. So down here, I know I have some orders. So I'm going to focus on Taylor's order. And let's see. This is normally how I know. So I know Taylor has an order. So I'm going to name it Taylor Gilbert order. And I like to use the board. Again, you can either do a list, you can do the calendar, or you can do the board. I personally like the board. It's just what my preference is. So I'm going to hit continue, and then it'll ask what I want to do first, and I just do start adding tasks. So go to project, and it'll create this board for me. And then I will go ahead and I could set it any icon on there that I want, any color. I just do the basic icon, and I'm going to choose, let's do green for this one. I'm only doing green because it's a boho theme engagement thing, and boho kind of reminds me of green. So let's just go with green. So my first task that I'm going to do here, I mean, you could kind of do it however. You can also do your overview first. I personally, I'm all over the place when it comes to actually filling this out. So I'm just going to put on here Taylor Gilbert order. And I'm going to put the due date on here, which is November 5th. And on here, I normally just put an overview of what it is. And I'm going to just pull up her invoice really quick. Oh, I could have just searched it through here. Oh no, I'm going somewhere else. No, that's the wrong Taylor. So on their invoices, I just put a basic like detail here. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste it just because I'm lazy. So I'm just gonna copy and paste. And that just has a summary on here. So it just kind of has the details of all what this basically is. And then I'll go ahead and go to my board. And my first task every single week for this is to design the set. So we're going to do design set. And then we will assign it. Make sure you are assigning it to yourself. If you don't assign it to yourself, it's not going to show up in your calendar, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of using Asana. So always make sure you assign it to yourself. And then later on, I will go into detail for each task. So I like to first add my task and then put the details. And then my second thing is gather cookie cutters. And then I do bake shapes. Flood bakes. Details. Lastly, Taylor order due. Okay, so that is what it's going to look like. And then I'm just going to assign all of these to myself. And the way I like to work is I know that this order is due November 5th. It's due November 5th, which means I want to be completely done with adding any details by Thursday. And that is kind of giving myself a little bit of space. Ideally, I would finish it by Wednesday, but I'm just going to give myself until Thursday to finish details. So I know my due date is the 5th. I kind of work backwards. So it's due the 5th. My details, the latest that I want to do then, it's going to be the 4th. I want to make sure all of my cookie bases are flooded by Wednesday the 3rd. And I want to bake my shapes. So I kind of give myself like all week to complete the order. It just kind of makes it feel a little bit less stressful. I want to make sure my cookie cutters are gathered by the 1st. And I want to make sure my set is designed by the 1st. So I kind of have it on here that design set, gather cookie cutters, bake shapes, flood, details, and then the orders due. And again, we could use this as an example. I'm just going to use this as an example. So I just kind of have in the description, theme, cutters, and colors. To be honest with you guys, I don't fill this out until the day that I'm actually designing it, because the whole purpose of me, what I want to do for this is design the set on a Monday. And I only do it like this because if I do it the week before, I give myself anxiety by thinking of the future and thinking of what it is that I'm going to have to do next week. So I just give myself until Monday that I have to design it to do this. And then gather cookie cutters. I just put what shapes do I need. And then bake the shapes. And this is where I would go into the jot form and see how many dozens she ordered and what flavor. So she wants 2 dozen vanilla. So that is where I will put it here. All vanilla, 2 dozen. And again, my subtask here is going to be to bake the dough. Sometimes I will add to make the dough subtask on here, and other times I do it a different way, which I will also show you. And again, for the base, I usually, when I design the set, I will add what colors I need here. Details, I don't really do anything. And then Taylor's order is due. I will go in again into the jot form, and I see that she wants to order it or pick it up from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. So I will put, I usually package the morning of, so I'll put package morning of, and then pick up from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And so then that's what that looks like. And I do have more orders for that week. So what I would do now, instead of paying and having to do a template, is I would go to duplicate, and it'll ask what it is that you want to put on there. And I'm going to change my project name on here to the next person's name, which is going to be, I'm going to go back to jot form and see that Kathy also has an order for that same week. So I'm going to copy and paste her name. Did I even? I don't think I copied it. I use a PC for work, and sometimes I get really confused on copying and pasting, and it is just not good. Oh, Heather said that building out the whole project for you is awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Heather. I owe it all to you guys, truly. You guys made the person that I am today, okay? It's all you, Corey and Heather. It's all you guys. Anyway, so then I'm going to keep the all of this same, all of this like check mark, except for the things that you have to like pay for. And I don't keep the other projects. That's not like the only thing that I keep on there. So then I'm gonna create a new project. And it's just going to load here. But it says that, so it'll say that it was created successfully. So I will go home and I will go into that project and I will change the color so that way I know that it's 2 different orders. And the only difference on here is that you're going to have to, it doesn't copy the overview. So this is something that you're going to have to enter in again. So on here, again, I put Kathy order, and I'm going to go into the jot form and see she ordered 2 dozen. Sometimes it just depends like what I remember to put in there, because I'm not perfect, honestly, and like sometimes I forget to put things on there, but that's okay. And Karen said this is great. I really hope that you guys are learning something, because I really like using Asana. It is like my new favorite thing, and I like make my boyfriend use it, and I love it. So again, for this, I'm going to go back into Square and search for Kathy's name. And here she is. We're gonna go back. We can see here, this is what she ordered. So I'm just going to copy and paste. Again, however it is that you take your orders, just copy and paste the details. I keep trying to copy and paste like if I'm using a PC, and I'm clearly not using PC. So, okay. So then I just put that on there just to kind of, again, look at it later on. And I'm going to, again, go to board, and everything is already going to be in there. The only difference that I have between this order and the other order is that Um, sorry, I totally blanked out. The only difference is going to be that I have to change this name here. Kathy, order due. And then I'm going to go back to the jot form. She is picking this up at 10 a.m., 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So the pickup time is going to change 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And Carolyn said, I'm seriously sitting here going through and doing this with you. Thank you. I'm so happy that you are. Like, it truly is making my heart happy because I know how useful this tool is. Like, you guys, I was a mess before this. Like, my brain cannot think of orders if it's not in Asana. Like, it has to be in Asana or my brain feels like it's like scrambled eggs. Like, I just, it's great. So this is the only difference. And again, under bake shapes, that's where I have the quantity and the flavor. And I think it's the same thing actually, because she had 2 dozen and she also had vanilla. So that completely stays the same. But if that was different, that's where I would change this. Catherine said so impressive and soothing. You clearly need to get this. Yes, you do. Get this, man. Get it. It's so great. And Karen said, thank you so much. You are very welcome. So then again, that's it. That's the only thing I would do. And I would continue just to duplicate for all of my orders for next week. And once you go to my task, again, this is this week's this week's what, Alondra? This week's overview. And what we just did for next week, this is what it's going to look like. What is this? Why is that there? Oh, see, so sorry. This is another order. I was confused as to why this was here, but this is another order that I had originally done when it first came in. So whenever the jot form was submitted, I already went ahead and put everything in Asana. So I'm thinking past me because I did this ahead of time and I didn't even realize. So I had already done it for another order when I first got this in jot form. Again, I already have like big shapes, what I was going to do. I used to do mixed icing colors also as a task, but I stopped doing it because I kind of put it together with the flood the base. But yeah, so that's what my next week looks like for now. And say that I mentioned that sometimes when I do like the make the dough, I will sometimes do it as a subtask, as I did in this specific order, where you can see that I assigned Vicente the, oh, you guys want to see my boyfriend's my boyfriend's Asana picture? So I assigned it to him as a subtask, but I want to show you guys how sometimes I will also do it. I will go ahead and do it all together because I will calculate how much dough I need in all. That way he can kind of see it in one place instead of going back and getting confused. Oh, Heather, that's the best part of this live, your picture. So again, I will sometimes add an actual task and I will put make dough when it's due, and I'll put please make 4 vanilla double batches, and I again will assign it to him. So just kind of depends. Sometimes I will do it the other way, sometimes I'll do it this way. It just depends on how I feel. But for me personally, I kind of feel like it's easier for me just to add it as an actual task on its own, because this allows him to just see it in one place instead of having to look at a bunch of different subtasks and possibly not make enough dough. And how you add a task to without like doing an actual project. So he will most likely make the dough for this week on a Tuesday as well, or a Monday. So I'll just do add a task and I will put make dough. And this is its own task. It doesn't have like a project. That's why it's not color coordinated. So then I will go on here and I will add a subtask as well, only because I'm assigning it to my boyfriend. But if I wasn't assigning this to my boyfriend, I would just leave it like that as a reminder. I don't know how much dough I'm going to need, but let's say like, please make 5 double batches. I just leave it on there, and then I know that I have to make dough, and when I click on it, it's detailed on there. Um, and yeah, so it's really easy once you have it like this, because if you have an iPhone or an iPad or whatever phone you have that has this app on there, when you're actually working on baking your shapes, you can kind of go back on here and look at what it is that you need. Let me show you a past week that I had already finished. I didn't use it last week, to be honest with you guys, because I didn't really have a lot of orders. But you can see in this one here, I put that I had to bake a shape, and I also put what shapes I need. So on this one, I put that I needed these two shapes. Let me see if I have an example. Sometimes I use this very well and sometimes I don't, so please don't judge me. No, was it for the cookie cutters? I think it was for the week before. No, you know what it is? I think I deleted it because once I finish it, I delete it. I think that's what it is. Hold on, let me see. No, I think I did delete it because I was done with it. But if I say I didn't delete it, normally what it would look like under the bake the cookies, I also would put Heather said, girl, we're using pen and paper. No one's judging you. I hope not. But for this specific order, once I do like baked cookies, we have sorry, I'm trying to find one that is like actually organized right now because I'm a mess this week. So for this specific one, I had put that I needed in this section here. These were the cutters that I needed. So I'm going to paste that into this section, but I'm actually going to put them in their own line. So, okay, I just like to see bullet points. Bullet points. So for diploma, I am going to do, how many am I going to do? So we're gonna do 6 of these. So I'll put 6, 6. I normally delete them once I'm done. That's why I wasn't able to show you guys, but so I know that I'm going to bake my cookies. I need 6 diplomas, 6 grad caps, 6 circles, and 6 plaques. And this also helps me kind of see how many of each shape that I need to bake. Sometimes my boyfriend bakes the shapes for me, and he knows how many shapes I need. So that's basically how I use Asana. Again, you can also look at your tasks through the board. I don't like how it looks through the board. I like to look at my tasks through the calendar, but I do like to look at each project as a board. But if something like there's so many options on here that you can do, you can if you don't like how it looks on a board, you can okay, you can't do timeline. You can do calendar, and you can also look at a list, and you can look at your overview again, which we went over, but I think that the most efficient way to look at it per order is through a board because you can see each single task. And if it makes you feel better, like I know that, not for the specific order, let's go back to this one. So for this one, I know that I've already completed this. You can always move it. You can keep it there. Sometimes it honestly depends on how busy I am if I will move it as long as I can see it overall. But this one, since I already made the dough, I'm going to put in progress, and that makes me feel a little bit better. It doesn't make me feel like I'm super behind. But yeah, that's basically it. If you guys have any questions, or if there's anything that I didn't go over, feel free to ask me. Um, but yeah, I just really like Asana. It's very, very efficient. It makes me feel like I have my life together looking at my order like this. Oh, and then another thing, if I deliver some cookies, I'll put delivery in the actual task name. So I know that it's a delivery and I'm not expecting them to come and pick their order. And again, I use my job form. I reference it a lot when I'm actually filling it out. So say on Monday when I'm designing my set, I just use my job form. I just go back and basically reference this the entire time to make sure I have all the correct information. But yeah, that's basically it. And Noreen said, "This is awesome. I never thought of using Asana this way." I honestly, I didn't even know what Asana was. I saw Asana for the first time in the sugar cookie marketing group, and I just kind of, I don't know. I was like, I need to use this. Like, what is this about? And it works great. I truly feel like I'm less stressed out because of Asana, because I can physically see what it is that I need to get done in one place. And I can access it through my phone, my tablet, my laptop, whatever it is. When I am filling it out for the first time, I use my laptop, but when I'm working on orders, like baking or anything like that, I use my tablet or my phone. And Courtney asked, is Asana an app or is there a website? Yeah, so like Heather said, it's both. You can download the app on your tablet, iPad, phone, whatever it is, and it's also a website, and you can also download Asana, and you can also download Asana like onto a Mac, like as an actual app on there, but I don't find it as useful because I reference a lot of different tabs. So yeah, but I think that's it. I don't know. Is there anything else, Heather, that you think I should go over? I mean, this is just how I use it. I don't know if I'm very efficient in it. Like if somebody else has like anything that they do, this is just what I do. But yeah, of course, Heather, I am very happy to show you guys how I organized my weeks. I was kind of laughing because I told my boyfriend, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna show them how I use it," and I don't even use it every week because sometimes I don't. I don't know. And Noreen said, "I've only used it at work for projects. This is great. I'm going to watch this again so you can set it up." Yes, I cannot wait. But yeah. Yes, templates is the paid version and she recommends it. I actually was debating last night if I wanted to pay for the upgrade, because I feel like templates would just make my life so much easier. But the way I just duplicate the order, honestly, it's like the same thing. So, that's the reason I was like, no, I'll just duplicate it. I don't want to pay for it. And Karen asked, will you be able to find this video later? Yes, you will. I am going to go ahead and save it so you can watch it later and start at the beginning. Oh, and another thing is I haven't added it yet, but also if I have like any special events, I will add another task on here as a special event and it'll be the same thing, but along with events, I actually use Workflowy for any events that I then reference for Asana to organize my like what I'm going to be doing. And again, I think Heather posted about Workflowy and I'm obsessed with it now. Like this is like what my theme looks like. So I'll always reference this when I am using Asana to look at what I have to do and I'll just put it into this. But yeah, that's basically it. And if you guys have any questions and you are watching the replay, make sure you put replay and I'll go back and I will answer any questions that you guys may have that I'm able to answer. And Heather said, oh, dude, I love Workflow. Are you an actual long lost? I think I am, Heather. Like, honestly, I don't know. It's like, if you say that, like, hey, go use this, I'm like on there. Like the first day you said use Workflowy, like, look at this. Workflow, like, look at this, man. I am using this up and it's all because of you. So anyway, you guys, can you go back to Workflow so I can screenshot what it looks like? I think I just did. I don't know. Do you need me to go back? Give me your hair and you can be twins. Sold. Are you sure you don't want to just keep your hair? I can just do my hair like yours. But alrighty, so that's going to be it. I'm going to end the live. Again, replay, just put replay and any questions. And yeah, I hope you guys have oh my gosh, a great rest of what is it today? Tuesday, and a great rest of your week and weekend. And go listen to the new podcast. You're not going to believe what the twins were talking about, who they talked about. I was so shocked. So just make sure you go listen to that and have a good rest of your day. Bye.